A reminder, the news doesn't end here. Here's what's coming up on WCNC Plus at 7 a.m.
What's in a name? Well, police say the same effort, reducing crime. We'll explain coming up.
New CMS benchmark data shows how many students are on track to college and career readiness. Coming up, why district leaders say there's improvement, but more needs to be done to achieve their goals.
Authorities releasing a person of interest they detained overnight in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie.
They told them you can go in and search my house. There's nobody there. I have nothing to hide.
What we know about that person as the FBI releases new videos of a masked person outside Guthrie's home.
And we're live in Milan as Team USA is hitting its stride.
How some of the country's biggest superstars are moving the USA up the leaderboard. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
Well, as you're heading out the door, we do have a handful of crashes that are currently ongoing. This is the biggest thing, though. I-85 northbound, right before exit 26, there's a crash there, and it's about a 3-mile backup. Here's a live camera look at it. This is mile marker 24 near Hickory Grove. Lanes are moving. They're just moving very slowly. You may consider taking Highway 74 instead. All right, Chris.
Thanks a lot, Majestic. 67, not bad. We are starting off with some rain and clouds, and then after that we are much cooler by tomorrow, about a 25-degree drop by tomorrow morning. And then back to the 60s for Valentine's Day. Widespread rain, a washout on Sunday, and then the 60s return, wasting no time next week.
All right.
And a big shout out to everybody who donated to our Scouting for Food drive this past weekend. And there is still time to give. Just text Scout for Food to 50155 to donate. If you don't think your money can make a difference, every dollar you give turns into 4 pounds of food to local families who need it most.
All right, make sure you join us streaming live on WCNC Plus.
Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We started things off this hour with a check of your forecast. It feels more like spring than February, Chris.
Yeah, what's going on? Temperatures right now at 61 degrees. This is unbelievable. But I want to start with the rain because rain is going to be upon us on and off throughout this morning. And that's one reason why the cloud cover keeping us nice and mild. But also we hit a high of 73 degrees after starting around freezing. A cold front is going to push through, and then eventually we'll see some sunshine starting to form behind that. So another look at the potential rain that we're going to see today. Scattered on and off rain showers really to begin the morning, and then once you get to about 11 o'clock to noon, I think that's where we're really starting to dial things back big time. See more sunshine on and off throughout the afternoon, and then eventually we'll be clearing things out. But I want to talk about the past, where we just were yesterday. We started at 30 degrees, got to 73, 43 degrees. That is a significant warm up. We were mentioning this yesterday on WCNC Plus. It could be one of the biggest and greatest of all time. Well, it's actually in the top 10, a big tie for 43 degrees, seeing the difference between the highs and lows. The biggest warm up you ever had in a single day, the temperature differential as it's called, is 48 degrees. It really just shows how special yesterday was. Meanwhile, we do these 25-degree drops all the time and also rises. 24-degree difference by tomorrow, and it's actually now showing, since it is a little bit later, now only a difference of 23. So, ooh, this is what I have for the 6 o'clock hour. 36 degrees tonight, though, so that's going to be the big difference. So at least about 20 to 25 degrees colder by tomorrow, and even a freezing start on Saturday, but very mild on Sunday. Sunday, the big question was, oh no, are we going to see another big snowstorm? That was the big hype about a week ago. Well, this is a day after Valentine's Day, so that was spot on. The Valentine's weekend could potentially have something, but we are far too warm. Now, there are some that are going to get a significant snow with this. Check it out. So our weekend rain, I think, holds off until Sunday morning. The only thing that's going to change here is if it accelerates a little bit, then we might see a little bit of rain by the back end of your Valentine's evening. But for the most part, looks like it's just going to be cloudier at that point. Most of the morning should see a uptick in the rain. I think the heaviest rainfall that you're really going to notice the difference is mid-morning to about the middle of the afternoon. But regardless, when you have rain from sunrise to sunset, that's a washout. So it's a washout type of day. If you don't have a lot to do, I highly recommend to always take advantage of days like this because it's going to make you feel lazy. If you have errands to run, you're not going to want to go out in that. It's fine. It's just rain. But I'm letting you know, do yourself a favor. You deserve to relax. So I'll write you a weather note. On the back end of this, though, we are going to see a big uptick in the snow the further northeast that you go, but we'll be clearing things out. And there's another thing I have not mentioned. Also, potentially could be really windy around this low pressure system. So the winds could be really rocking and rolling, and wind could blow that rain horizontally at times. All right, so for our 7-day forecast, if it would pop up on me, there it is. We will see a slight cool down back to the 50s, a little bit of a come up to the lower 60s on a Valentine's Day. The coldest day, because it is the wettest day, is Sunday, but then after that, we waste no time. We're right back to the mid 60s, and even next Thursday and Friday, we're right around 70 degrees. So it looks like those warmer temperatures are trying to take over for this time in February. Let's see what's taking over our morning commute so far. Good morning, Majestic.
Good morning, everyone. Do need to let you know right away about an accident. This is west of Uptown, I-85, out near Lowell, McAdamville, that type of area. This is near Hickory Grove exit, so mile marker 24. I'm seeing the biggest impacts between 22 as they're trying to clear this, but all other lanes, they're moving. They're just moving very, very slowly. So again, I-85 inbound lanes, we always see congestion this time of the day, but never helpful when we also have a crash too. So there's I-85. This is where the crash is at. This is 74 just below it, and you can see there is a bit of a slowdown there as well. And I think it's just because people are rerouting and trying to avoid taking I-85 because this is what it looks like right now. This will be something to keep in mind. Of course, I'll let you know once it is actually cleared. In addition to that, we have had a very busy morning as far as traffic goes. We've been following an accident right there on I-77 and I-485 that has since been cleared. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, I'll be back here talking about I-85 and then the other crashes that we're following as well. Lisa.
Majestic, thanks. Now to a breaking news update in Charlotte. CMPD says a shooting in Noda is now a homicide. That shooting happened just off North Tryon Street and Natondo Avenue Monday afternoon. This is some video from that scene shortly after the shooting. CMPD says 37-year-old Bradley Reed died from his injuries Tuesday. Police have yet to release any information on a possible suspect. This latest shooting comes as CMPD says it is evolving its initiative to reduce crime in the Queen City, especially after an uptick of incidents last year.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane now live for us in Uptown this morning. And Richard, while the name of this initiative is changing, police say that the goals, they're staying the same.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. I like the word Lisa used, evolving. Good morning to you, Ben. Good morning, Lisa. Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Basically, police say this name is evolving because they're continuing a program aimed at one thing: reducing crime right here in Uptown. Now, it was once known as Operation Safe Season. It's now been rebranded as Operation Queen City Safe. Police say the mission remains the same: curb violence and create a safer environment for people who live, work, and visit Uptown. While Uptown is known for its vibrant atmosphere, from busy restaurants to walkable neighborhoods, parks, community gatherings, last year it also became known as the one place in Charlotte where every place else in the city, most every place else in the city, crime was going down. But crime was going up here in Uptown, causing concerns among business owners and residents. In response, CMPD launched Operation Safe Season last year, and under Operation Queen City Safe expanded the effort 2 weeks ago. So far, the department reports 133 traffic stops, 51 citations, 14 firearms seized, and 17 arrests. Police Chief Estella Patterson recently highlighted the initiative's progress before state lawmakers. Residents say they've noticed a stronger police presence with more officers on bikes and on foot patrol. Many hope the continued visibility will help keep momentum going.
Personally, I think it's the only true neighborhood in the city of Charlotte where it's walkable, you know your neighbors, you can go out, there's things to do at your doorstep. I definitely see the presence of policemen on the street, on bikes, on foot, much more now than I did before.
Past summer was a little tough. You know, we had a little rough summer with a lot of crime going on in this side of town.
It was a little bit out of hand, but I think it's gotten a lot better.
And that is the goal of police. They say the more visibility, the more officers out walking, the more folks will feel safe, and the more people will be safe right here in Uptown. Of course, as this program continues and shows improvement, other areas of the city can also have parts of this program there. We're right here in Uptown. This is Richard Devane. We'll send it back to you.
Richard, thanks. Right now, an urgent search remains underway for a suspect in an Albemarle bank robbery. It happened Tuesday afternoon at First Citizens Bank on North First Street. Take a look at your screen. We're told this person, you see right here, demanded money and claimed to have a weapon. They did not show it. At this time, it's not clear how much money that person got away with. If you have any information, you're asked to call police. North Carolina State Crime Lab has new technology to help solve gun crimes. The system matches shell cases found at crime scenes to a national database using the unique mark each gun leaves when it fires, similar to a fingerprint. Investigators say it's already generated 10,000 leads and helped make an arrest in a New Hanover County homicide.
7:08 now. This morning, we are still awaiting a response from Mecklenburg County Commissioner Yvette Ingram after we learned a warrant was out for her arrest. Ingram was ordered to complete 24 hours of community service for a 2024 DWI. We know that warrant out of Gaston County was issued after she didn't appear for a hearing last month that was connected to the order. If we get a response, we'll be sure to let you know. We'll be right back, streaming live on WCNC Plus. 7:12 now. Just weeks from North Carolina's primary, voters are questioning North Carolina House candidates on topics like immigration, affordable housing, and LGBTQ rights.
Yesterday, several organizations teamed up to host a forum at UNC Charlotte to discuss their concerns. WCNC Charlotte's Julie Kate was there.
I've been in this country for 48 years, and I never thought that I would have to carry my passport.
Jose Hernandez Perez is the director of the Latin American Coalition. But above all, he's a U.S. citizen who knows the fear the immigrant community in Charlotte is facing.
And I can only imagine the fear of others who only have a temporary status or who may be undocumented or who may be in a process.
He says immigration has been a flashpoint in every recent election. But Border Patrol's deployment in November is shaping both this election and their organization, which has had to add new locks and security protocols.
We added those after Border Patrol came and realized that there's no checks and balances any longer.
The Latin American Coalition is one of several organizations to join the forum. They invited candidates from House Districts 99, 105, and 106 to answer wide-ranging questions.
Our folks tend to be a little bit underemployed.
Charlotte Pride, another partner organization, says they're focused on affordable housing, but every issue is crucial.
Those issues are so intersectional, and whenever one minority community is attacked, really we all are, right?
Both organizations agree the event is about inclusion.
It's about making sure that people that may feel threatened, that may feel that they're being targeted right now, have an opportunity to ask questions.
Julie Kate reporting for us there. Today, we're expecting a couple of protests speaking out against ongoing immigration enforcement operations. Indivisible at Gaston will be protesting in front of Congressman Tim Moore's office, asking him to support restrictions in ICE activity. Also, Statesville students are organizing a walkout in protests of ICE's detention policies, deportations, and family separations.
In a little more than 2 hours, the South Carolina Supreme Court will begin hearing arguments for Alex Murdaugh's appeal.
Murdaugh is asking the justices to throw out his 2023 murder conviction for killing his wife and son. Christy Calcagno is live outside the courthouse this morning. Christy, where's Murdaugh's defense team focusing their argument in this case?
Hey guys, good morning. Christy Calcagno alongside News 19's Kiki Gushu here. We're kind of be breaking down exactly what is happening in this case. We do know there is going to be multiple defenses there for Alex Murdaugh as well as the state going against this. Now, as you just mentioned, that the doors will open at 8:30. Trial begins at 9:30, but you can actually already see, let's go ahead and take a quick little step back. You can already see the line of press as well as other people who just wanted to get a seat inside that courtroom. They are currently lining up and getting ready almost about an hour before these doors open. So Kiki, I know you've also been following this case. Basically, what is at stake right now, and break down how we got here today.
Yeah, Christy, so in 2021, Paul and Maggie Murdaugh were murdered at their home at the Moselle Estate in Hampton County, in Colleton County, South Carolina, in Hampton. Now, from there, Alex Murdaugh, the father of Paul and the husband of Maggie, was convicted of murder at a trial in 2023. That trial lasted almost 6 weeks, and since then he has been appealing for issues he say happened in the first trial. One of them is financial crimes, the allowance of his financial crimes into the trial, and the other is allegations of jury tampering by Becky Hill, the then clerk of court there in Colleton County.
Yeah, those are going to be the two things that the defense is going to argue during this, and then you have Creighton Waters, who is going to be representing the state, coming up in just a little bit. But here's something that we do want to mention to you all watching here this morning is that this is not a new trial. This is an appeals hearing. So basically what we're hearing right now is that there is no new testimony, right?
There is no new testimony. There is no new evidence. Actually, the briefings that will be read here today have already been published. So the 5 justices inside the Supreme Court are already in the know about what they're going to be hearing today. They've studied pages and pages of testimony. They know this trial like the back of their hand, and they are ready to ask questions. That's going to be a big part of today, is going to be the justices asking questions and really trying to get to the bottom of if these 2 allegations warrant a new trial for Alec Murdaugh.
And then that's the point that we're going to be waiting for to see if there is going to be a new trial. And then the big question is going to be what happens next. We are hearing that we're going to be hearing a little bit later on today after this hearing from both sides to kind of get some reactions onto this and basically what is going to happen next. But to break down what we're going to be seeing in the courtroom, a lot of this is only 20 minutes. In fact, it's 20 minutes on each of those cases that we're hearing. And then it's going to be 20 minutes on the state side. And then all of that, like you mentioned, is really going to be involving questioning, right?
Yep, absolutely. And one interesting thing is that during those 20 minutes, those questions count as time. So these justices can interrupt at any point and ask questions, and that actually takes up some of the time of the argument. So it'll be really interesting to see what their questions are and how that kind of shows what their thinking is along the lines of this hearing.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on, of course, and only like about an hour and a half inside that courtroom. But again, Kiki's going to be over there inside the courtroom. There's already a media frenzy behind us. There's already a bunch of people who are lining up for their live shots as well, and they're getting us the scoop on everything that you need to know. So we're going to be standing out here outside the Supreme Court. Kiki's going to be inside, and we're going to bring you guys the very latest. We'll send it back over to you guys in the studio.
All right.
Kiki,
Thanks so
Christy,
much.
Thank you both. A case that's captivated folks here in the Carolinas and across the country,
For
really.
quite some time.
All right, we're back after this right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everybody. Here it is. We are looking at a pretty decent afternoon, but this morning we have some rain, and it's a super warm start. It's also a little bit on the breezy side, but something to get excited about is National Latte Day. So see Majestic's excited. She's excited for her latte later on. So we have a latte going on today. We are looking at a nice mix of cloud and sunshine, and then eventually we will be completely dry heading into the afternoon. High temperatures in the mid to the upper 60s. But you know these national days aren't just one. There's always layers upon layers. So what else we got out there? We also have Get Out Your Guitar Day. Maybe I'll do that a little bit later on. National Make a Friend Day. Love that message. And National Peppermint Patty Day. Maybe you can have a peppermint patty latte with a new friend. That sounds great. Then you can play guitar later. Then you have the quad squad of national days. 67 today, starting off with a little bit of rain, and then we're seeing a nice mix of cloud and sunshine. The 60s are going to be great. I love that. And we actually have a lot more 60s that are taking over our extended forecast, and we deserve that warm up. And then eventually we'll see a little bit of a cool down. But back again for for those rain chances. They're especially going to be high on Sunday. Sunday, I am really seeing the entirety of your Sunday actually being rain. The only thing that could potentially work in is sometimes you can have some dry slots. But let's talk about the rain totals. I'm seeing these all over the place. That yesterday we're calling up for 1 to 2 inches. I still think that we're going to be in general in that range, but over the next 7 days, the totals continue to trend down, keeping it closer to about an inch and a quarter. That's also factoring in today, but letting you know, I think we have way less than 1/10 of an inch, even way less than 5/100 of an inch. That's how light this rain is. Still could create some damper conditions, but I'm calling up to either side of an inch, but I think that we will have some locally heavier spots to get up to about 1 to 2 inches when this is all said and done. So it's really that nice steady soaking rain. These are the ones that you love trying to cure any sort of drought status. So looking at our long-range forecast, 7-day forecast is looking beautiful. 63 degrees for your Valentine's Day. The coldest, the cloudiest, the coolest, and the wettest is on Sunday at 53. And then after that, we're going to have a nice little zoom. I actually want to show you one addition because our 10-day forecast is going to be great. Check it out. You have temperatures that aren't only getting into the 60s, but I even moved us up into the lower 70s by the 19th and the 20th. So next Thursday and Friday. So yes, we are cooling down, but we have a shot for another day like what we just had yesterday within the next 10. All right, Majestic, before you're showing a lot of red lights, what's going on now?
Well, we have another big accident. Here's my map right here. You can see lots of icons popping up. I want to take you now to northeast Charlotte. So it's going to be right here, I-85 southbound at Harris Boulevard. We're seeing impacts there, backed up to at least exit 46. That's Mallard Creek Church Road. Look at this. This is an earlier vehicle fire. So the fire is out at this point, but you can see the car that's still, it's on the side of the road. Still learning more, of course, as to what exactly is going on, if anyone got hurt, that sort of thing, but really focusing on the impacts of that now. So I-85 is going to be mile marker 46 heading towards Charlotte. Another camera view. This is out towards Mallard Creek, so traffic is flowing a little bit better there. But again, we're following some impacts because of an earlier vehicle fire on I-85 out near mile marker 45. So you may have some delays. That's the biggest thing. The new information that you need to know for now. We'll have another update coming up soon.
Well, on this day in Black history, back in 1990, Nelson Mandela walked free after 27 years behind bars. He'd been in prison for leading resistance against South Africa's system of racial segregation after peaceful protests were met with violence. Mandela's long imprisonment turned him into a worldwide symbol of both justice and equality. After his release, he helped negotiate the end of apartheid and later became South Africa's first democratically elected president. He retired from politics in 1999, but remained a global advocate for peace and social justice until his death in December 2013.
All right, 7:24 now. We're going to take a quick break. We'll make sure that you keep it right here, streaming live on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everyone. Well, temperatures are going to be all over the place over the next several days, but right now we are rocking some really mild temperatures. Look at this. Temperatures at 61 degrees right now around Charlotte, 55 around Statesville. We'll have a chance for a few passing showers this morning, but all in all, that rain should be done by the afternoon. It should be a delightful one all in all. We're looking at high temperatures still rocking the 60s during the middle of the day. And then once you get into tomorrow, you're going to notice a big difference. I'm talking about a 25-degree cool down by lows tomorrow. Then we have a mix of the 50s back to the 60s for your Valentine's Day. One day stands out from all the rest. Maybe you already plan a lazy day if you can. Widespread rain, pretty much sunrise to sunset for your Sunday. Back to the 60s next week. All right, a lot of big incidents this morning. Majestic, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Let's get straight to it as we're following an accident. It's going to be west of Uptown, or actually, northeast of Uptown. That's where we're looking at I-85 southbound at Harris Boulevard. We've been seeing some impacts, some delays, really between exit 45 and 46. Here's one of our live cameras looking much better than it was just about 5 minutes ago, but there's that crash there. Plan accordingly as you're heading out the door, and good morning to South Carolina. Things are looking good for now. Hope you have a great day.
Thanks for joining us live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. First up this morning at 7:30, a check of your weather impact forecast. Chris standing by. Another mild day, perhaps not as warm as yesterday.
And at least it's a warm start. Yesterday we started at 30 and got to 73. At least it's not freezing. However, we'll be closer to freezing tomorrow. Here's what it looks like through our Dallas camera. This is a good testament of what's going on. There's a lot of breaks in the rain, and a lot of the rain is really struggling to even hit the surface. Visibility is just fine, so it doesn't really show any rain on the map that is really affecting anything. Over here in Monroe, all is well. Seeing some streaks of a little blue trying to shine on through, and 47 degrees already in Boone. So what's going to happen today is we're going to warm up slightly, and then we're going to fight against a northwest wind, which is a colder wind, and the sunshine that we're going to have. So that's almost going to put a cap on our warm up. So I'm only anticipating about another 5 to 6 degree bump from where we're right now across the greater Charlotte area for the mountains. I think you hit your high temperature early afternoon where things really start to simmer down. 73 was our high yesterday. That was incredible. What a temperature swing as well, swinging 43 degrees. Today, 67. That's still not bad. No, seriously, 6 degrees warmer than we're at right now. Here's the current rain. We've pushed one branch of showers past the area, and now we're going to have another one that starts to roll back in. So we could have a little bit of a lull, maybe a few sprinkles that are going to be flying here and there, but there's not a lot of rain that's really coming from the system. Likely, if you look outside, you might notice, okay, it's a little damp outside, but then that's pretty much it. So we've been telling our bus stop goers Temperatures will be either side of 60 degrees, and by the time that they're getting home, it's going to be a much sunnier sky. That's what I was trying to get to. Seeing around 67 degrees by 2 to 3 o'clock. Mix of cloud and sunshine, but then still clouds are going to be prevalent. The winds really start to be felt by the evening. Once that sun sets, you're like, oh, that's a cold wind. So plan accordingly. Our high temperatures tomorrow, I think, are mainly in the upper 50s. Some could touch that 60-degree point. 56 on Friday. A little bit of a comeback on Valentine's Day this Saturday. But then bottom line, Sunday is the day that stands out from all the rest. Widespread rain, and then we'll have a nice little surge of the 60s through most of next week. Our lows also returning to that freezing point and close to at least. 34 is our new average low. Well, we're going to be back below that for Friday and Saturday, and after that, the 40s take over, and it's really 40s and 60s majority of next week. Now let's get right to your rain chances. This is the big one. It's Saturday night, Sunday, and Sunday night, but realistically, I can say that it's going to be a majority of your Sunday that we're going to see rain. So let's go right through it. Here's what it looks like. Seeing the rain first starting to knock on the Carolinas' door by your Saturday night. I think Saturday evening, which is Valentine's evening, as I'm calling it, we'll see maybe a light sprinkle. You don't need to carry the umbrella with you. I think you're just fine, at least for now. This is a big bad weather system, by the way, that's going to plague a lot of snow up into New York and parts of New England, New Jersey as well. For us, we're just getting all the rain, so thank goodness, or else this would be a big-time snowstorm. It's all rain, though. Again, if you were listening from the other room, it's an all-rain system. The heaviest rain either side of lunchtime, getting a little bit lighter, heading into the late afternoon and evening, and we should be dry by your Monday morning. Our rain total is much higher to the west. I think we have up to at least an inch of rain. Some areas, if we get some heavier downpours, could see upwards to close to about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. Here's a 7-day forecast, looking pretty good, brought to you by the Jerry Hunt Super Center. Back to 56 on Friday. The coldest, cloudiest, and wettest day is this coming Sunday, and then you're going to love the 60s that are following that. Happy early Valentine's Day, happy early weekend, and just enjoy your wonderful Wednesday. It may not look like it to start, but it definitely gets better for the afternoon. Not so wonderful start to our morning commute. Majestic's had a boatload of problems.
It's a busy start to the day, that's for sure. Want to get straight to my map and show you a couple of things that I'm noticing still. This is going to be the wreck that we've been following on I-85 southbound at Harris Boulevard. We've been seeing those backups, but we are seeing great improvements right here. Still some cones or some lights right here off to the side. All other lanes seem to be flowing just okay. So hopefully that is completely cleared within the next 10 minutes or so. This is what we're seeing out there in South Carolina. I-77, of course, it's going to be slow moving coming in from York County into Mecklenburg County just after 7:30 this morning. And this is something new as well. We're looking at I-77 now, again, northbound lanes. This may impact you if you are coming in from York County. Accident there at Nations Ford Road. That's exit 4. It's backed up to exit 1B. Off to the west, this is 485, the outer loop. We do have a crash there. The off-ramp, though, to I-85. So a few things to keep in mind. Lots going on this morning. Make sure you are prepared as you're heading out the door. Guys.
7:35 right now on WCNC Plus. This morning we have our first look at how CMS students are stacking up against the district's 5-year goal that aims to get students ready for college and beyond. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards now live at CMS headquarters this morning. Destiny, what do these new numbers really show?
Well, new data from the district's first benchmark assessment for this school year shows just over a third of students are on track to being considered college and career ready. The district leaders say this is showing improvement from recent years, but there's still a gap to be closed here. Now, these new numbers were presented at last night's CMS board meeting. It shows 37% of students in grades 3 through 8 are projected to reach college and career ready status based on the first MVPA assessment given this school year. That's 4 percentage points higher than last year's end of grade results, but still short of the district's target for this year. School board members are proud of the progress, but are now looking ahead to how to speed things up for students who are behind.
We will need to further improve our CCR percentage by 3 additional percentage points to reach the 25-26 goal. The strategy is really knowing exactly who the students are, what their gaps are, and then tailoring instruction to meet the needs of every individual student, regardless of where they are.
The district's goal is to increase that percentage of college and career-ready students to 50% by the year 2029. It was at 31% in 2023. So that just gives you a picture of the growth, but it's still slow going. So the district wants to focus now on targeted support. That is through small group instruction and using data to identify students who need that accelerated learning. Live at CMS headquarters in Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
Destiny, thank you. Right now, a man remains in jail after being denied bond for sexual exploitation charges. According to the Union County Sheriff's Office, a cyber tip led them to Brian Coronado Toledo, who was in possession of child sex abuse material. Authorities say the investigation is underway and more charges are expected.
State leaders marking a major milestone in the fight against gun violence. They say new technology is helping investigators connect cases faster than ever before. Flynn Snyder explains how it works.
It's being described as a reminder as much as it is a milestone.
I think you can tell by hitting this milestone that gun violence is still an epidemic.
An epidemic and 10,000 leads in gun-related offenses at the NC Crime Lab. It's thanks to a database called NIBIN, or the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network. Top law enforcement officials marked the new number in a press conference.
This NIBIN milestone is a big deal for public safety in North Carolina.
So how does this database actually work? Investigators here at the NC Crime Lab can analyze ballistic evidence like this for unique markings. Those markings are then logged into the database, which can then help link crime scenes and identify potential shooters. State Attorney General Jeff Jackson showed the machines used to get those markings.
It means that we are way out in front when it comes to connecting the dots between different crimes in different locations.
Kinson's police chief says NIBIN has led to convictions.
Several years ago, we had several incidents where we had shootings in different parts of our community, and we were able to utilize the resource here to link those cases together and have an effective arrest.
For Jackson, the milestone is met with mixed reaction.
On the one hand, it's a good thing that we're getting all these leads. On the other hand, it does mean that we continue to have a lot of shootings.
Technology used for more than 3 decades in the state now reaching a milestone in curbing gun violence.
Flynn Snyder with that report. Authorities brought someone in for questioning after new images surfaced in the Nancy Guthrie case. We'll have the latest next. Authorities brought a man in for questioning last night in connection with the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. That after the FBI released some newly recovered images and video of a person appearing to tamper with Guthrie's security camera.
Several news outlets reported this morning that the man detained for questioning has been released. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington, where federal law enforcement has been hard at work on the case.
Rapid developments this morning after the FBI released this disturbing video of a masked person wearing gloves and carrying a gun and a backpack outside Nancy Guthrie's home the night she went missing. 10 days into the investigation, the Pima County Sheriff's Office saying they detained someone for questioning in the case in a Tuesday traffic stop south of Tucson. Local and federal authorities also searched a property overnight in southern Arizona tied to the investigation that they say is ongoing, offering no more details there. The FBI director who visited the Tucson Command Center yesterday and shared this photo confirmed investigators are looking at persons of interest. But no one in law enforcement has said whether the person in for questioning is the same one in this doorbell camera video that the FBI had been working with private sector companies to recover.
And then go into their systems and actually excavate material that people would think would normally be deleted and no one would look for.
Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie shared the video from her mother's doorbell camera, writing, "Someone out there recognizes this person. We believe she is still out there. Bring her home." The images reveal what appears to be facial hair around the person's mouth and what looks like distinctive eyebrows through the mask's eye holes. You can also see the person's clothing and body movements as they tampered with the camera, covering it with plants from the yard. The community on edge.
It's like a member of the family when I hear about Nancy Guthrie, and I sure hope they find her.
A prayer shared across the country. As for how that video was recovered, a retired FBI agent told NBC News that even though Nancy Guthrie apparently didn't have a subscription to store the video, there are stops between the data going from the camera to the server where pieces of data can be left behind and potentially recovered, and it appears that's what happened here. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
7:44 right now on WCNC Plus. A missing Alabama mother and her 2 children sparking a major investigation in Mobile. Deputies say the case led to the arrest of Juan Guerrera, who is now charged with 3 counts of first-degree kidnapping, and Silverio Garcia, a man they said had ties to the families was found with a firearm. Authorities have located a black van seen at the home the morning the family vanished and continue searching multiple locations with the help of the FBI.
Well, we're hoping that someone will tell us where they are. And anytime you arrest somebody, you're in hopes that they're going to tell you what occurred, and then our main goal is to find them safely and bring them back home.
The sheriff said the common connection among the missing mother and the suspects is that they all are house painters and that they're all in the country illegally.
A Jacksonville, North Carolina mother is speaking out after her twin boys drowned in a pond in their backyard over the weekend. Sebastian and Benjamin were 7 years old, full of life, according to their mother, Barbara Zerlinga. She called her boys in for dinner, but when they didn't answer, she checked the pond and found them in the ice. Both boys were pronounced dead at the hospital. Zerlinga says while the last few days have been tough, she says the support has been overwhelming.
For the time that we're in right now, it gives me hope, and I know that the boys would have loved and appreciated everyone. And I can't say thank you enough.
Just heartbreaking. Zerlinga says the boys were inseparable and that they were different in their own ways, but so full of much joy and love.
Now let's go to live pictures right now from the Olympic flame there in Milan. Up next, right here on WCNC Plus, we are live in Milan as Team USA is looking to keep its momentum going. 7:49 right now on the dot. This morning, the 2026 Winter Olympics hits day 5 of the competition. Let's take a look at the medal count. Right now, Norway taking the top of the leaderboard with 12 medals, followed close by Italy. And check it out, the U.S. rounding out the top 3 right now, tied with Japan, not too bad. Switzerland right behind us. And we are getting up and gearing up for an exciting day of events.
That's right. The best ice dancing duo in the world will try to repeat as Olympic champions. Anne-Marie Tiernan takes a look at what's happening today.
The Olympic spotlight shines on figure skating with the free skate and ice dancing. The U.S. now is tracking gold with the dynamic duo of Madison Chalk and Evan Bates. They are the defending Olympic champions, and they enter today's competition in second place. Up in the mountains, snowboarding and the women's halfpipe, as megastar Chloe Kim looks to add her 3rd straight gold medal in this event. But it has been a bumpy buildup to these games. She's had injuries. How will she perform? And back in Milan, he's 21 and fast as a bullet. Jordan Stolz. He's ready to strut his stuff and become a household name at the games too. He's a Wisconsin speed skater competing in the men's 1,000. Currently, he holds the world record.
And it is way too warm for the Olympic Games right now there. It is crazy. So right now the current temperature, and that's in the upper right, is 50 degrees here in Milan. Now, of course, it's colder out in the mountains where they're doing most of their snowboarding and all that jazz. But it's partly cloudy today. High of 54, so only warming up about 4 degrees from where we're at right now. Now over there, it's well into their day. A little bit cloudier on Thursday, but we're still looking for our first freezing temperature. So yeah, no, they refuse to cool down. So those Winter Olympics are not winter-like whatsoever. Well, we hit a low of 60 degrees, alas. Now, this is coming with a big asterisk. Our low for today is not now. We're going to hit a low that is much colder than this. Just our morning low is around 60 degrees. It's really later on this evening. We're quickly actually going to drop down through the 50s and even into the 40s. So likely we have the 40s for our lows for this day in climatology. But 61 right now, not taken away from that. That's amazing. Either side of 60 degrees, it feels good. When you go outside, you might even have a little smile on your face, even though it's not the prettiest start to the day. Here's where our high temperatures are going. So your 10-10-10 forecast, 67 today, 60 degrees for your Thursday, 56 on Friday, and then we see a little bit of a comeback for your Valentine's Day. And then check out the big difference, a big old drop on Sunday as temperatures fall back down into the lower 50s. But I love where we're going, seeing a nice surge in the mid to the upper 60s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Even a shot at back-to-back days in the lower 70s. And note, yesterday we hit 73. We have another shot to do that again. It really is by the conclusion of February that the 60s become the reoccurrence. Then anything in the 50s is technically below normal. Instead, it's another stair-step climb for our lows. We have a couple of days that are going to be really close to that freezing point, back to the 40s, and then a nice little surge through the 50s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And what about the rain chances? Well, we had the chance for rain this morning. That's going to drop off here in the next couple of hours. It flatlines for a couple of days, and then we got a big old surge on Sunday where we have a 90% chance. And then like later on in the week, I think you might have a little disturbance that tries to sneak in, but I'm not really looking at anything major. I don't really see any big time wet weather systems outside of what we're going to have for this coming Sunday, which, by the way, is going to be an all-day event. I'm seeing a lot of rain totals that are picking up at least to around an inch of rain when all is said and done. It's nice soaking rain, so this will help us out with some drought status. We still need several more of these really to catch up completely. Right around 1 p.m., I think it's either side of lunchtime is where we're going to see some of the heavier rain. And then check this out. There's the big deal with this story. See all these lines, how close they are together? This is showing how much the winds are picking up. So big time snow moving into Pennsylvania, New Jersey, over to New York associated with this. Once it moves out of the Carolinas, picking up big time winds as well heading in the southern parts of New England. So even though it's not a big story here locally and we just clear out and warm up behind it, it will be another nor'easter type setup for our friends up in New England and the Northeast who have not had a great winter. We think ours is bad. They had, I think, a week straight that was below freezing and even 20 degrees. All right, Majestic, that's a really slow moving traffic I'm looking at right
Yeah, good morning, everyone. This is I-85 here out near Sam Wilson heading toward Charlotte. It is just jam-packed. We've had a couple of ongoing wrecks on I-85. Right now, my last check, they're clearing, but the delays are still in place. So this is what it looks like. Not a great start or morning commute if you are taking I-85. Again, this is going to just be a very slow-moving morning commute. This is one new thing that you should know about. This is going to be right there on University City Boulevard near East Mallard Creek Church Road. Still seeing some impacts coming in there. And then just to the north, I do want to show you what's going on up by Lake Norman. I-77 definitely slow moving from Cornelius through Huntersville. Davidson, good morning. I mean, this is what we're used to for this time of the day. Not seeing any current wrecks on I-77 up there, but not too far away is a new crash. It's here on Harris Boulevard at I-485. We'll have another check on the roads coming up soon.
Majestic, thanks. We're going to take a quick break right now at 7:55. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
What a day. We are officially at 59 degrees. So we just dropped that to start off the 8 o'clock hour. Seeing temperatures in the upper 50s is still lovely. We've been mainly rocking around 60 degrees just as Morganton is dealing with, but those winds soon are going to shift. Here's the rain that is currently on the map. We're going to see some rain that pushes on and off throughout this morning, and then once you get to around lunchtime, it's pushing well south of I-85, mixing in more sunshine for the afternoon as well before we cool things off heading into tomorrow. You can see those winds really rocking and rolling, though. We'll have some wind gusts on and off to 20 miles per hour, just at a colder direction later on. Still highs in the afternoon, the mid to the upper 60s, much cooler up in the high country. And again, rain ending through this morning. 7-day forecast showing a little cool down through the 50s the next couple of days. Still the 60s on Valentine's Day, widespread rain, and the coolest day Sunday. All right, Majestic, big time slowdowns this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Want to show you a couple of our cameras. This is I-85 there in mile marker 27. You can see a car accident involving at least 2 cars and a few police officers there on scene. But boy, that's making for some impacts. This is I-85 mile marker 28 near Moore's Chapel, where you can see cars are hardly moving. These are the inbound lanes, so plan accordingly. We'll have more on WCNC Plus.
streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start with a breaking news update in Charlotte. CMPD says a shooting in Noda is now a homicide. That shooting happened just off North Tryon Street and Nintendo Avenue Monday afternoon. This is some video from that scene shortly after the shooting. CMPD says 37-year-old Bradley Reed died from his injuries Tuesday. Police have yet to release any information about a possible suspect. And this latest shooting comes as CMPD says it is evolving its initiative to reduce crime in the Queen City, especially after seeing an uptick in incidents last year.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us now live from Uptown. So, Richard, the name is changing. The department says it's evolving, but the goals evidently remaining the same here.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, Ben. Good morning to you. Good morning, Lisa. Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Yeah, the name is evolving, if you will, but the mission staying exactly the same. That is keeping areas like here in the Central Division, right here in Uptown, safe and crime-free. What was once known as Operation Safe Season has now been rebranded as Operation Queen City Safe. Police say the mission remains the same, curbing violence and creating a safer environment for folks who live, work, and visit Uptown. While Uptown is known for its vibrant atmosphere and busy restaurants, walkable neighborhoods, and community gatherings, last year, while crime was actually down around the Queen City, in Uptown, it was going up. Now, that caused a lot of concern among business owners and residents. In response, CMPD launched Operation Safe Season. Late last year, this was done, and under Operation Queen City Safe, they expanded the effort 2 weeks ago. So far, the department says they've had 133 traffic stops, 51 citations, 14 firearms seized, and 17 arrests. CMPD Chief Estella Patterson recently highlighted the initiative's progress before state lawmakers. Residents say they're noticing a stronger police ambassador presence, with more officers on bikes and on foot patrol. Many say they hope the continued visibility will help keep that momentum going forward.
Personally, I think it's the only true neighborhood in the city of Charlotte where it's walkable, you know your neighbors, you can go out, there's things to do at your doorstep. I definitely see the presence of policemen on the street, on bikes, on foot, much more now than I did before.
Past summer was a little tough. You know, we had a little rough summer with a lot of crime going on in this side of town.
It was a little bit out of hand, but I think it's gotten a lot better.
And that is what police hope, that things are getting better with stronger presence. They say, of course, as it works here, it can work in other parts of the city. But since they had the issue here starting last summer, they say they want to make sure and show by police presence and force that they're going to get the numbers down here as well. We're right here in Uptown. Richard Devane, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Richard, thank you. Right now, an urgent search is underway for a suspect in an Albemarle bank robbery. It happened Tuesday afternoon at First Citizens Bank on North 1st Street. Take a look at your screen. We're told the person you see right here demanded money and claimed to have a weapon. They did not show it. At this time, it's not clear how much money they got away with. If you have any information about the case, you're asked to call police. North Carolina State Crime Lab has new technology to help solve gun crimes. The system matches shell casings found at crime scenes to a national database using the unique mark each gun leaves when it fires, similar to a fingerprint. Investigators say it's already generated 10,000 leads, and it's helped make an arrest in a new Hanover County homicide.
8:04 now. This morning, we are still awaiting a response from Mecklenburg County Commissioner Yvette Ingram after we learned a warrant was issued for her arrest. Ingram was ordered to complete 24 hours of community service for a 2024 DWI. We know that warrant out of Gaston County was issued after she didn't appear for a hearing last month connected to the order. If we get a response, we'll be sure to let you know.
Today, Charlotte transit riders are getting a second chance to weigh in on how much they pay to ride. CATS is holding public meetings on a fare study. Today's meeting is set for 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Valerie C. Woodard Center. Riders who can't make it in person can share their input online. 8:04 right now. Turning back to your weather impact forecast and Chris.
It is a beautiful day later on today, but right now it's just a mix of clouds and a little bit of sunshine trying to work its way through. There is a little bit of rain on the map, but really it's struggling to get out there, so you might have a damp road here and there, but this is pretty much the general norm across the area. A lot of breaks in the clouds. This is some good news that it doesn't really show a really confident band of rain. Now, there is some widespread heavier rain, and that is just to our southwest, and that's just going to miss us. However, I've been talking to York and Chester and Lancaster County. I think you have the better chance for a last surge heading into around lunchtime. And the rest of us, it's really a morning event as this cold front is pushing through. And then eventually we see a little bit of sunshine starting to evolve. So slowing this down for you, it's really the end of the morning that we're going to see the last surge of rain. Should be fairly light and slight. Here's that little heavier pulse that I was talking about, really between about noon and 2. And then we're done. Right now, it is 59 degrees. I haven't adjusted the graphic on this, but at one point, when we were talking about 5 a.m., it was going to be about a 24 degree temperature drop. Now you're looking at about a 17 degree difference from 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock. But still, upper 50s to the lower 40s, it's going to be pretty substantial. But we are dropping down to about 36 degrees. So compared to where we're at right now, that's the 24 temperature degree drop that I'm talking about. 34 for your Friday, and it is freezing on Saturday morning. The mid 40s on Sunday, and then Sunday is really the big wet weather highlighter. By the way, National Latte Day. We're super excited about this. So National Latte Day is coming on a really warm morning. So I think I'm going to go for an iced latte if I were to do this. Temperatures in the mid to the upper 60s. And again, we should be drier by the afternoon. But you know the way National Days work. There's always some bonuses. Get out your guitar day, National Make a Friend Day, and also National Peppermint Patty Day. Not too bad. All right, so let's get right to our next big weather story, and that's going to be this weekend. Now, a lot of people are asking, what's it going to be like for Valentine's Day? Valentine's Day, looking fine. I think the clouds just increased. Valentine's evening, I think still that's okay. Maybe a chance for a few isolated, maybe light rain showers and a few sprinkles, but most of the rain looks like it's going to be the entirety of your Sunday. Check this out. This is a huge weather system that eventually is going to bring a lot of snow to the northeast. Not here. It's all rain. And the rain, I think, especially gets heavier, I think, mid to late morning, and will start to lighten up about mid to late afternoon. So either side of lunchtime looks to be the heaviest. I've been saying, now I know that we have lives and things to do. The kids maybe have to be places, but if you have a chance to control your own destiny, this is a perfect opportunity because the weather is not going to be super motivational for an extra nap, doing stuff inside, maybe relaxing, catching up on that show. Again, if you're a parent, you might not have that option, but just letting you know, if you have a chance to be lazy, I certainly will do too. I'm going to do my best. Maybe I can coax JT with some snacks. So right around 1 inch of rain is expected from this event. That's substantial. We need a lot more of that, but at least that's a start. I think we need several more of these examples of these inches to 1.5 inches to 2 inches of rain to finally overcome this drought, because if we don't do something soon, heading into growing season, that's going to stunt a lot of things. But things are trending toward a better direction, and oftentimes we'll start to up the rainfall anyways. 60 degrees for your Valentine's Day. The coldest day and the cloudiest looks to be Sunday, and then after that, a nice mix of the 60s. So I like where our temperatures are trending. Okay, let's see what's to like about our morning commute. However, there's a lot not to like.
Good morning, everyone. This is a big, busy morning. We're following an accident. This is going to be out on I-85. You can see it here on my map, just west of Charlotte. It's going to be the left lane that's blocked. I-85 actually heading southbound at exit 26 is where the actual crash is, but we're seeing delays at about 2 to 3 miles. We have inbound and outbound delays, but the accident within itself is impacting those southbound lanes. I mean, this is what it looks like right now. Nobody wants to sit in this morning. So if you typically take I-85 heading southbound out of the Charlotte metro area, you may consider taking Highway 74 instead. Not seeing huge impacts if you're heading northbound, but again, southbound lanes are hardly moving. In addition to that, this is a newer crash. It's on University City Boulevard near East Mallard Creek Church Road. Seeing a little bit of yellow there, meaning we have a little bit of a delay, but not anything too significant. If you're heading southbound on I-77 from Cornelius, Huntersville, Davidson, out by Lake Norman, of course it's going to be slow moving. Just check though, there are not any accidents, just jam-packed conditions because a lot of people are heading in the same direction. And then finally, this is at Harris Boulevard at I-485 where a new accident just happened and delays are starting to build. Lisa.
Majestic, thanks. Before we head to break, here is an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey everybody, here at ShopTVDeals.com, we love to bring you products that we've tested and we know for a fact are really the best out there. Now you see these things in my ears right now. These are everywhere now these days, earbuds. But the static earbuds, they give you something a little bit different that really could make a big difference in your life. What's so great about these two things, it's an open ear concept. Take a close look there. You can see it's not all the way inside the ear canal. And there's two reasons why that's important. Number one, after long-term use, something being that far in your ear actually can do some damage. And number two, most importantly, because it's open ear, it allows you to hear the outside world better, which is really, really important as you're working out to keep you safe as you're kind of jamming along to your favorite music. What I also love about this product too is check out the case. It charges really, really fast. At a full charge, these earbuds will last you for days at a time. And let me let you in on a little secret. The whole time that I've been talking to you, I've actually had these earbuds going in my ear with real music from my phone. So don't tell anybody, but that's how good these things are. And we have a really great deal for you on these earbuds. You're gonna get 33% off and get these for $39.99. That is a really nice deal for a pair of not only effective and sleek looking, but safety minded earbuds. Can't beat that. So scan that QR code at the bottom of your screen or check us out at ShopTVDeals.com.
Now, getting regular health screenings can save your life by catching problems early. But experts say what you do between those appointments matters just as much. Paying attention to changes in your own body can help you spot warning signs long before your next checkup. Doctors stress the importance of speaking up when something feels off, but to not use them as a replacement for your annual health screenings.
Think of it like a check engine light. You know, your body is really good at sending you signs and symptoms to let you know that something is going on. Self-checks are then an additional check on top of what you've already been doing as recommended by your physician.
Now, some things to watch out for include moles that are changing, itching or bleeding, unexplained shifts in your weight, and aches and pains that don't go away, or changes in your bowel or bladder habits.
A new study in the Nutrients Journal shows that many baby foods and drinks in the U.S. are ultra-processed, raising concerns about potential health impacts. Researchers looked at 651 foods and said more than 70% of them had additives that are connected to, quote, inflammation and disruptions in the gut microbiome. Previous studies have shown that eating ultra-processed food can lead to major health issues, including obesity and type 2 diabetes. California health officials now linking cases of measles to a potential exposure at Disneyland. Authorities now confirming a second case of measles in a person who visited the park and Disney's California Adventure on January 22nd. The report comes a week after an international traveler tested positive after visiting Disneyland. As of right now, the CDC says there have been 733 confirmed measles cases across the country this year. South Carolina has reported 13 more measles cases across the state. That's now 933 since the start of the outbreak. In response, State Senator Margie Bright Matthews introduced a bill that would eliminate religious exemptions for measles vaccinations.
That bill pushing a broader conversation, not just about exemptions, but about building trust in vaccines. WCNC Charlotte's Miles Harris looked at the proposed bill.
As measles cases climb, South Carolina lawmakers and health leaders say that the focus is shifting to prevention and encouraging more people to get vaccinated. Health officials say measles is highly contagious and preventable, yet cases are rising across South Carolina. In response, South Carolina Senator Margie Bright Matthews introduced a bill that would end religious exemptions for the measles vaccine for students in K-12 schools and child care settings.
And it basically says, protect our children. And if you are not going to vaccinate your child, that is your choice and your right. But you cannot allow your child to infect other children or give other children the measles.
Lawmakers backing the bill say it's also meant to spark conversations and rebuild confidence in vaccines.
Parents want to keep their kids safe. So they always ask about like, hey, what are we hearing about the vaccine?
Pharmacies like Prime Family and Rock Hill say many families are asking questions, a sign they say that education plays a key role.
As a community pharmacy, it is my responsibility to keep the community safe. Whoever wants to know, as far as they're interested in getting to know about the vaccine, we do educate them. That's our job.
Senator Matthews says the bill is designed to ease family concerns and reduce the risk of measles for children.
When we're talking about children, and what are the rights of my young grandchildren to go to school and be free from those from being infected with measles.
Now, the proposal is still in the early stages, but supporters say the conversation in itself is a step forward into improving vaccination rates statewide. In Fort Mill, I'm Miles Harris, WCNC Charlotte.
An animal shelter is putting a wild twist on Valentine's Day, and your ex might be involved. Could this be the pet-themed revenge that you didn't know you needed? Find out next.
Welcome back, everyone. So we've been probably seeing a lot of video about this. So what you're looking at right now is Lake Erie. So Lake Erie just recently went through a significant crack in its ice. Now, for one, I have to let you know, this is also a super rarity that happened because 96% of Lake Erie was frozen over. That is the most that we've had in over a decade. But the little part in between, that is about a 3 to 4 mile crack in the ice. And you probably might be wondering, how did all this happen? Well, what was happening, first off, that I follow a few meteorologists, some of my friends up into Detroit, Michigan. They were saying that it was below freezing for 17 straight days. And what you're seeing right here is actually the live crack that is a recorded satellite imagery. And the best thing about satellite imagery is you can see the active snow and ice that's on the ground, and you can see that visible separation they have here from Canada over to here in Ohio, and that was sizable. Those are strong winds, and on top of that, you have the temperature fluctuations. Majestic had a great weather IQ about how the temperature differentiations can also crack water mains. Well, the same thing's kind of happening here. And then on top of that, it also becomes really stressed. So whenever you get the ridges of ice starting to build up, it starts to crack more as there's more force on that. And with temperatures in flux over the next couple of weeks, it will be very unstable ice over here on Lake Erie, which is one of the more shallow ones where it's more likely for this to happen than, say, any of the other lakes. But really cool satellite imagery to see here. And I'm happy to say at least our temperatures are going to be trending in a better direction here locally. Current temperatures right now, we are rocking 59 degrees. We've been holding true to really 61 for most of the morning, 62 degrees around Wadesboro, and then 58 degrees around Salisbury, 44 right now in Boone. We already are starting to see the transition. So the transition is out of the southwest. That's why we were so warm yesterday and why we've been so warm this morning. Now starting to fall out of the northwest. So once that happens, it's a noticeable colder wind, and you're definitely going to be feeling it late afternoon today. Once you head into the evening, all of a sudden the 60s and sunshine is going to start feeling more winter-like. So just keep that in mind. Just plan accordingly for the big shift later on. Still, I think highs have enough oomph and enough chance to get back to around 60 degrees tomorrow, depending on how much sunshine we have. Really think it's going to be closer to about 59 average across the area, 56 on your Friday, and then we'll see a real up and down to either the lower 60s or the mid 50s. But this is the one day that separates itself. I think that Sunday is going to be much cooler because we literally have rain-cooled air for the entirety of the day. Temperatures don't really move too much for our highs and lows. And then our 64, 65 degree point is an amazing way to start off the week. But those who want the 70s back, I have great news for you. We have another shot next Thursday and next Friday. All right, that's going to wrap up the weather. Let's get a new update on a busy and kind of treacherous morning commute.
Yeah, there's a lot going on this morning. Still, our biggest accident is going to be west of Uptown. This is going to be on I-85. Left lane is blocked because of a crash there. This is I-85, actually southbound lanes at exit 26 where the crash is still ongoing. We have slow-moving traffic even inbound, but that's just kind of our typical morning traffic. The crash that's quite impactful is impacting really those southbound lanes. You can see it here. This is I-85 at mile marker 28 near Moore's Chapel. You can see cars are moving, but they're moving very, very slowly. You can see right there. So that's going to be the biggest thing for your morning commute that you need to know about. Meanwhile, I do want to take you just south of 485 where we're following this crash here. There were two. One was just cleared, but look at the secondary one. It's just off of Johnston Road inbound just after Lancaster Highway. A little bit of a delay coming in, so plan accordingly as you're heading out the door. We'll have another check coming up soon, guys.
Majestic, thanks. The Lenore County SPCA is getting creative this Valentine's season by giving a literal meaning to the phrase "love stinks."
All right, so listen to this. Donors, you can pay $5 to have your ex's name written inside a litter box this Valentine's Day. But you're over it. You moved on. You really moved on years ago.
I could think of so much to say.
The fundraiser launched Monday and has already seen almost 24 donors from across the community and sparking lots of laugh along the way for good reason. But the litter box isn't just for show.
At the end of the month, we'll give it to our cats and let them do their thing. So they will poop all over your exes.
How about that? That's the Valentine's Day spirit. The shelter has another fundraiser that's a bit more loving. For another $5, donors can write a love note to an animal at the shelter, and the notes will be hung around the shelter.
Did you see that Tyler's name was in there twice?
No.
So either there are two Tylers or that Tyler is really something else.
That's right. Watch out for Tylers. All right, live pictures right now over Uptown. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus. We're back after the break.
What a start of the day. If you haven't been outside, enjoy it, seriously, because it is rare to have a warm start like this right around 60 degrees, which, by the way, the last time that we did this was January 10th, so just a month ago. That was also the last time that we were in the 70s as well, and we did that yesterday. 59 right now from Monroe to Charlotte, 58 for you in Rock Hill, cooler at 44 in Boone, but Boone, you're at 50 for most of the morning, so we all have been on the warmer side of things. However, the camera's doing one of these because we're still looking at winds. They're gusting up to about 20 miles per hour. That is a warm wind for now. Eventually, it's going to be a colder breeze, especially later in the afternoon. High of 67 will tumble back down into the 30s overnight tonight. So get ready for a big chill. 35 to start off your Thursday. Highs in the upper 50s on Thursday as well for the afternoon. Mid 50s back and forth to the 60s before the coldest and wettest day on Sunday. All right, Majestic, what's going on?
Good morning, everyone. It is a busy start to the day. We have a handful of ongoing accidents. Let's get straight to it. The most important thing as you're heading out the door is still this right here. It's a crash on I-85. It's actually the southbound lanes happening at exit 26. The left lane is blocked. We have stop and go traffic. You can see how slow moving this is. This camera's taken near Moore's Chapel. We'll have more on WCNC Plus.
for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. First up, a look at your weather impact forecast today. In the 70s, yesterday on the 70s, today not quite as warm, but just still mild especially for February, Chris.
Yeah, no, it's really not bad at all. So here it is. You're looking at a little bit of rain to start off the day, and then once you get to the afternoon, don't worry about it. Temperatures in the mid to the upper 60s, clearing out for a little bit of sunshine. So I really like the way things are trending. However, we waste no time cooling down. Once we get the clouds out of here, it's a cool, clear sky and a calmer wind that's going to maximize your cool down. Already down to 53 come 9 p.m. So our morning low so far is 59. Just letting you know the absolute low will be in the 40s pretty much once we approach midnight. But it should be a decent day overall. Definitely feeling those winds of change. I think on and off you're going to have some really cold wind chills in the 30s later on this evening. So plan accordingly. These are the type of days that are sneaky because say you're dressed for the 60s and temperatures drop so fast that you wish that you had an extra layer. So to make sure that you're kind of making a wardrobe game change later on this evening. 36 degrees by tomorrow, 32 in Hickory. This is going to be mean, just letting you know, because we were pretty much around 60 most of this morning if you were out and about, and then all of a sudden tomorrow morning you're going to be anywhere from 20 to 25 degrees colder. Yeah, you just need to know that's happening because you walk out, you're like, what is this? 30 degrees for your Saturday. And then for the long-range forecast, all eyes are pretty much on Sunday. Not that I'm worried about a big severe weather event. I do think it could be pretty windy, but that's the only day that we have a widespread washout potential. This has all the makings of a lazy Sunday if you can. And I understand the way life goes. So many times that I wish that at points in my life I could have a lazy one. But if you are somebody watching that has the availability to binge watch what you want, do what you want, that's it. Yeah. No. And do you know what I'm doing for permission? I'm already going to talk to JT. Hey, do you want to have a movie day? Doesn't that sound great? Do you want some snacks? Let's do it, my man. Yeah, because those are the type of days that I'm sorry, you have no motivation. There's no sunshine. It's raining pretty much all day. Now, the temperatures in the lower 50s isn't the worst. That's just one of those days that sometimes you give yourself a chance to take a chill pill. I definitely would do that because then after that, you have so much warmth that you want to really take advantage of. So check it out. Our 10-day forecast is trending in a really nice direction. Even though we dropped down to the bottom, the lower to the mid 50s on your Sunday, we're right back to the 60s, even challenging the lower 70s on the 19th and 20th. So that's next Thursday and Friday. Meanwhile, our lows are only dropping down to around that freezing point. Then we have the 40s and the 50s. And truly, besides the rain that we have this morning, which isn't all that vast, and then the widespread rain that we have on Sunday, nothing else really major. However, that rain is going to be sticking around for most of the day on Sunday. Check this out. Valentine's, I think it's just going to be a cloudy one. Once you get to Sunday morning, the rain's knocking on our door. The only thing I think that could happen here is maybe the rain is very light and it's just cloudy to begin the day, but at one point it's going to be coming down. I think we could have some rain rates up to about a quarter inch per hour. The wettest period right now looks to be either side of lunchtime, still lasting into the evening. Truly, this is the makings of a pure washout scenario from sunrise to sunset. I think we got rain, but luckily it should be drier heading into your Monday. So drier bust up, but still probably wet roads. As far as how much rain we're going to see from this when it's all said and done, I think up to around an inch, but there are some indications that we could have some isolated totals at 1 to 2 inches. So some much needed rain. We just need to do this a few more times to help out our drought status. Let's see what's going on for our morning commute. Majestic, I don't know what's going on today. What a wicked Wednesday.
We're seeing a lot, that's for sure. I mean, lots of minor accidents, but even a few of the bigger ones that's really impacting your morning commute. This one still, it's got to be the biggest problem as you're heading out the door. This is still I-85 out towards exit 26. Traffic is looking a little bit better just compared to about 5 to 10 minutes ago. At least those lanes are moving a bit better. These are those southbound lanes. So I-85, this is mile marker 28. However, the crash there was at mile marker 26. So a couple of miles of just really slow moving conditions. Just south of 485, you can see that we do have an additional crash to let you know about just off of Johnston Road. You can see the yellow here, Johnston inbound, just after Lancaster Highway. Once we're heading more north, this is going to be University City Boulevard near East Mallard Creek Church Road, where we do have a crash right there in the middle of the intersection. If your morning commute takes you on I-77, say from Cornelius to Huntersville, of course it is going to be very slow moving, especially inbound. No accidents to report right now. Just take it easy there. We'll highlight a couple of those other concerns coming up soon.
35 right now on WCNC Plus. This morning we have our first look at how CMS students are stacking up against the district's 5-year goal that aims to get students ready for college and beyond. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is now live at CMS headquarters this morning. Destiny, what do these new numbers reveal?
Yeah, CMS leaders say it shows that there's been some modest progress made, but it's still a ways to go. It misses the mark for what they want to see from students right now. This new data shows that just over a third of students are on track to being college and career ready. And again, district leaders say there's improvement here, but there is a gap to be filled. Now, these new numbers were presented at last night's CMS school board meeting. It showed 37% of students in grades 3 through 8 are projected to reach college and career ready status based on the first MVPA assessment given this school year. That's 4 percentage points higher than last year's end of grade results, but still short of the district's target for this year. School board members are proud of the progress, but are now looking ahead to how to speed things up for students who are behind.
We will need to further improve our CCR percentage by 3 additional percentage points to reach the 25-26 goal. The strategy is really knowing exactly who the students are, what their gaps are, and then tailoring instruction to meet the needs of every individual student, regardless of where they are.
The district's long-term goal is to get students to 50% of college career readiness, or 50% of students at college and career readiness by 2029. And in order to reach that long-term goal and even the short-term goal of achieving that mark by this year, the mark that they want to see right now, they're thinking of looking at targeted support. So small group instruction and also using data to identify which students need that accelerated learning. Live in West Charlotte at CMS headquarters, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
Destiny, thank you. New this morning, a Rowan County mother is behind bars after an FBI investigation found she was sexually abusing her child. The Rowan County Sheriff's Office tells us 33-year-old Veronica Yeri is facing several charges, including felony child abuse, after FBI agents found videos of her abusing an infant on her phone. Yeri was arrested. That child has since been turned over to social services. She has a $10 million bond and is expected to face a judge next month. A man remains in jail after being denied bond for sexual exploitation charges. According to the Union County Sheriff's Office, a cyber tip led them to Brian Coronado Toledo, who was in possession of child sex abuse material. Authorities say the investigation is still underway. More charges are expected.
State leaders marking a major milestone in the fight against gun violence. They say new technology is helping investigators connect cases faster than ever. Flynn Snyder explains how it works.
It's being described as a reminder as much as it is a milestone.
I think you can tell by hitting this milestone that gun violence is still an epidemic.
An epidemic and 10,000 leads in gun-related offenses at the NC Crime Lab. It's thanks to a database called NIBIN, or the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network. Top law enforcement officials marked the new number in a press conference.
This NIBIN milestone is a big deal for public safety in North Carolina.
So how does this database actually work? Investigators here at the NC Crime Lab can analyze ballistic evidence like this for unique markings. Those markings are then logged into the database, which can then help link crime scenes and identify potential shooters. State Attorney General Jeff Jackson showed the machines used to get those markings.
It means that we are way out in front when it comes to connecting the dots between different crimes in different locations.
Kinson's police chief says NIBIN has led to convictions.
Several years ago, we had several incidents where we had shootings in different parts of our community, and we were able to utilize the resource here to link those cases together and have an effective arrest.
For Jackson, the milestone is met with mixed reaction.
On the one hand, it's a good thing that we're getting all of these leads. On the other hand, it does mean that we continue to have a lot of shootings.
Technology used for more than 3 decades in the state now reaching a milestone in curbing gun violence.
8:39 right now on WCNC Plus. Somebody questioned in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, no longer in custody at this hour. The latest from overnight on what investigators know. An individual has been released after being detained overnight for questioning in the search for Nancy Guthrie.
That was one of many developments in this case Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning. Reed Binion reports.
It's a very delicate process.
Former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe weighing in on news that authorities detained a person for questioning in connection with the disappearance of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy.
So going to be very kind of low intensity rapport building. Eventually they're going to get to asking details.
The individual was detained during a traffic stop an hour's drive south of Tucson. A law enforcement official said the person has not been charged. Authorities executed a search warrant at a home and also searched a car. Both of those searches taking place in Rio Rico, Arizona, roughly 60 miles south of Tucson near the U.S.-Mexico border. Those developments happening just hours after the FBI released doorbell camera footage from outside Nancy Guthrie's front door taken the night she disappeared. The video showed a masked, armed person with a backpack. There was an uptick in calls to law enforcement after the release of the footage. It's not clear if the person who was detained is the same individual seen in the surveillance footage, but experts say the video is likely to come up during questioning.
Eventually they will confront him with images of that person on the porch.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Nancy Guthrie's whereabouts are still unknown at this hour. Separate from the person detained for questioning, the FBI Director Kash Patel said the agency is looking at what they call persons of interest in the case right now.
A Connecticut family is mourning the loss of a 93-year-old woman who was found dead outside a nursing home. Police believe Peggy Healy wandered away from that facility early Sunday morning and collapsed in the freezing cold. She had Alzheimer's and wore an ankle alert device that should have gone off when she exited the building. Her niece says that device had always worked in the past.
She has an anklet bracelet. And at least when I would take her out to go out to lunch or something, the alarm would go off. So my experience was that the anklet bracelet worked.
Police say they aren't assigning blame yet, but emphasize that in emergencies like this, calling 911 immediately is critical. The Connecticut Department of Public Health says it was notified of Healy's death, but cannot confirm whether it's investigating until any review is complete and findings are released.
A small mountain community in Canada grieving after the deadliest school shooting in the country that it's seen in decades. 10 people are dead, including the suspected gunman, and at least 25 others were hurt in the attack at a high school in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia. Several people remain hospitalized as investigators work to learn more about the suspect and identify the victims. A disturbing incident in South Florida where deputies say a man tried to lure 3 kids into bushes and then chase them.
One of the kids captured that frightening encounter on video as they screamed and ran for help. Investigators
was trying to offer them the chips. He didn't have no mask on his face, so they saw his face. And when they would identify him, the freak had on the same clothes he had on in the video.
Police later arrested 19-year-old Julian Valdez. Deputies say the children did exactly the right thing by running away and then telling a grown-up.
So I love answering any questions you have, and it could be anything. It could be about science, weather, I got you. So the question of the day today is, why does copper turn green, and why use it if it just turns green? I'll explain.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. It's Wednesday, time for today's Tiny Town, taking us over to western North Carolina, just south of Spruce Pine, the town of Little Switzerland, North Carolina. That's today's Tiny Town. It's actually in McDowell and Mitchell counties. Population right around 112, less than 2 square miles in territory. It's Little Switzerland. Why the name? Well, there are the steep mountains, the deep valleys, and the sweeping panoramas look much like Switzerland. That's Little Switzerland, North Carolina. One of the landmarks there is the general store, and another notable place is the Emerald Village and Mining Museum right there in Little Switzerland. Little Switzerland, North Carolina, that's today's Tiny Town. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
Thanks a lot, Larry. Well, you've seen it before, that you see some of these older buildings and they have those green tops. At one point, it was a beautiful copper finish. And that brings up today's question of the day, or random question as I'm calling this segment. Why does copper turn green, and why use it if it's just going to turn green? We're going to answer all of the above coming up. But first off, I want to show you. It's called copper patina. So that's what happens, is literally that layer of green, which sometimes if ammonia mixes in, it can be a little bit more of a bluish color, that it comes over time. The unexposed copper is going to have that beautiful, shiny, kind of tannish, brownish color. But about 4 to 8 months in, you're already starting to see it turn a darker brown. And then once you get really to about anywhere between the 3 and 7 year time frame, it's starting to turn a lot more of a brighter green, and the brightest of greens, where it's really starting to be the blue-green color that we typically see, that's usually over 25 to 30 years. So stage 1, you have fresh copper and oxygen. So what happens is you put that copper up there, oxygen immediately starts doing its work. It touches that, and then some oxidation starts happening. So literally the process that oxygen is starting to change the surface chemical compound. Often what happens, if say you leave an avocado where it turns brown, that just happens much faster. Then number 2, stage 2. You introduce some water vapor. So that humidity, that really all it does is a catalyst. It really expedites the process. So if you mix oxygen and water, it does a much better job. And then the same thing goes for carbon dioxide, because carbon dioxide mixes with what's called the new copper oxide. So all these compounds just kind of come together. So plain and simple, I think the easiest way of doing this, and I went to AI trying to help illustrate this a little bit better, that it's oxidation over time. That really, once you gather the oxygen combined with the CO2 and also the moisture in the atmosphere, eventually you have that patina, which is also known as copper carbonate. And then eventually you have that beautiful green at the end. Now, to answer the other question that was brought up, why do this? Why use it if it's just going to turn green? Well, patina is actually like adding a skin around the copper that it protects it. That, as we all know, wood rots, iron will rust. Well, the patina actually preserves it, and the main goal in building is to make it last as long as possible. So the green is actually what you want, because they said, hey, we'll deal with the green because it can last 100 to 300 plus years. That's why so many of these older buildings still have the copper intact, all because of that patina. The patina is literally just a weather protectant. If we didn't have that, copper probably would not be used as this, but that green just shows that, hey, you pretty much have the best weatherproofer that you potentially can have on some of those older buildings. All right, thanks a lot for Callie for sending in the question. That was my producer, by the way. We're still waiting for any of your questions if you want to participate. So this is the number. You can text them to 704-329-3600, and maybe right around this time, I could be answering your question or your random question, as we put here. All right, I'm a meteorologist, so let's get back over to the whole weather side of things. Current temperatures right now, we are dealing with 59 degrees, feeling great. Overall, a mostly cloudy day. A few raindrops on the lens, but it's going to be a decent one. I'll wrap this up with a 7-day forecast because I talked way too much about patina. But you just need to know that by the afternoon, it'll be sunnier with high temperature of 67. A little bit cooler the next couple of days before a nice comeback on Saturday. Widespread rain on Sunday. Need the umbrella or just stay in. And then the 60s take over all of next week. All right, Majestic, and one more look at traffic.
All right, let's do it. Good morning, everyone. As we are heading out the door this morning, my map has been very, very busy. Lots of icons popping up there. Couple things to know before you head out the door is still as we're heading over to the west. This is now a crash here, 485. This is the outer loop off ramp to southbound I-85 exit 10. So we have a crash there heading southbound on I-85. And remember, that's also where we've had significant delays this morning because of a crash there on I-85. It is clearing, so at least some good news. However, I mean, this puts into perspective just how jam-packed that is. As almost mile marker 28 out near Moore's Chapel. Out towards 485 Pineville, out towards Matthews, Mint Hill. Not looking too bad, nothing too out of the ordinary, so take it easy as you head out this morning.
"14 years ago today, the world lost Whitney Houston, an icon of Black music and culture. Whitney was one of the best-selling artists of all time, earning 6 Grammy Awards and becoming the first artist to score 7 consecutive #1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100. Her recording of "I Will Always Love You" became one of the best-selling singles ever and helped make the Bodyguard soundtrack a global phenomenon. Houston also broke barriers in fashion and entertainment, influencing generations of singers with her unmatched vocal power. My absolute favorite singer, like the voice.
Unmatched to this day.
For sure.
And I think unmatched going forward.
I think so too.
Nobody like her. All right, 8:55 right now. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Megan Bragg sitting by. She's in our live Impact studio. She's going to have Juliana O'Rourke from the Better Business Bureau to talk about tax scams. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning. Starting off cloudy with some on and off rain. That will be cut off by about noon. Temperatures starting to warm back up though. 62 degrees. We're going to set our sights at the mid to the upper 60s later on. Wind still blasting out of the northwest. Are going to be a cooler direction and sunshine will be upon us. Just going to be a little bit of patience. 7-day forecast brought to you by the Jerry Hunt Super Center 7-day forecast. And then that is 60 degrees to around the upper 50s tomorrow. But this morning we started off near 60. It's about a 25-degree difference by tomorrow morning. Keep that in mind before you head out the door. 56 on a Friday. It's a little bit warmer for Valentine's Day. And then boom, Sunday we're expecting rain all day long. Perfect for binge watching or just watching the Olympics right here on WCNC Charlotte. 60s all next week. I'm Majestic. One more traffic hit. What's going on?
All right, good morning, everyone. Still, it is busy out there as we are approaching 9 o'clock this morning now. Something to let you know about, though. This is going to be west of Uptown. It's right here. It's the I-485. It's the outer loop off-ramp to get onto southbound I-85. That's exit 10 specifically. Stop and go traffic. It is messy there because of that accident again happening there on the off-ramp. Make sure you plan accordingly. This is I-85 southbound. You can see how slow moving it is. We had an earlier wreck that has since been cleared, but those delays are still ongoing.